When I married a man with an autoimmune disorder, I started to worry about the longevity of our life together. I challenged my husband Joshua to get to the root cause of his autoimmune disorder, and he agreed. So a year ago, we started getting serious about Joshua's health.
Due to past experiences with heavy-duty pharmaceuticals, I knew a Western medicine approach wasn't going to be a good fit for me. And so we scoured the internet for local natural healers. And we found some, but most were out of our budget.
We took matters into our own hands, and it was confusing and stressful because we didn't really know what we were doing.
And finally, after 6 months of patience and praying, a light finally came into our life.
We met Dr. Karen Edwards. Dr. Karen Edwards, ND, Master Herbalist, is a board-certified doctor of naturopathy by the American Alternative Medical Association and the American Association of Drugless Practitioners Accreditation Board. Karen is also an iologist and has served as a board member of the World Iology Guild.
Since working with Karen, not only has my health transformed, but so has Kate's.
Karen's light and guidance continues to inspire us to stay on our healing journey and share what we're learning on this channel.
In this video, we share an interview that we shot with Dr. Karen, and it shares a snapshot of her story, beliefs, experiences, and suggestions for anybody looking to begin their natural healing journey.
We hope you enjoy this interview and getting to know this incredible woman that we are eternally grateful for. What inspired you to first study natural medicine?
Well, I was a sick child all my life. I was born with type 1 insulin-dependent diabetes and heart disease and kidney disease. This is my dog, Abby. She likes to be in the pictures. The doctors just didn't have a good hope for me, and they talked to my parents when I was younger. And I was undiagnosed for many years, so I didn't get diagnosed until I was a teenager. So I was just very sick, and I learned how to eat weeds. I learned how to watch the bees and the birds, what they ate, and I thought if it's good for them, it's got to be good for me. God made it for them, he can heal me too. So as I would go to the doctor and get insulin increased all the time, I just started realizing that there was another way when they said there wasn't. And they said I'd be on insulin the rest of my life and I'd never get well. So it didn't work. I mean, why would that be a win for anybody? As I started eating foods that were fresh and green, and my mom was German, so everything was meat, everything was fat, everything had all kinds of garbage in it. So as a child, I learned to quit eating meat and just eating the foods that made my stomach feel good. So then along the way, I started studying maybe as a young teenager in libraries and found Dr. Christopher, John Christopher, which is the best herbalist in our time. Unfortunately passed away in, I think, the late 80s. But as I began to study with him and the herbs, I was just hooked. I knew it was going to be my life. And lo and behold, as I began to get older and started studying, he became my professor. And it was pretty ironic that the one that taught me everything in the beginning is kind of like you guys. You know, we're seeing you as patients, and now here you are wanting to do the studies yourself. And it's just amazing because you do get inspired when you have health issues and you find the answer. And then pretty much along the way, I just started finding the schools and the medical school, and then I knew I wanted to go to the holistic route. And because I just was so well. Today I'm not on insulin, I'm not on heart medicine or kidney medicine. And it all has to do with the correct diet and lifestyle, and it also has to do with faith and knowing that we do have a God that can heal us as well.
Your first higher education, it wasn't natural medicine that you chose first, was it?
My first degree really was in marketing and advertising, but along the way I was already doing the studies. I was already beginning the herbal studies early on, and then when I lived in California for a job, I was able to find a medical school there that's also a naturopathic school. And then early on, long before online schools, I was able to bring the studies back home, because when I moved home to the Midwest, there's no schools here on education for holistic medicine. So I have a lot of studies. Once you get into it, you don't ever want to stop. And I just begin to study iridology, which I worked with the greatest in the world with that, with Dr. Leonard Malmauer for the sclera and also the iridology. So you know the eye sciences, you've experienced that, and that was pretty exciting. Amazing what it shows, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Did your parents or your siblings ever get weirded out by you eating your wild weeds and that as a kid?
Not really. My family was kind of staggered. My sister and I are 6 years apart, so when I was 12, she was already off and married. So, and then we had two brothers that were way younger, 13 years younger than me. So not really, I kind of was in the middle doing my own thing, and my mom just didn't know how to cook for me. So I pretty much was self-sustained when it came to healthy eating.
Did you ever doubt if natural medicine was for you, or?
Never. And just the opposite. I doubted that other medicine was not for me. Not to say that it's not good for everybody, but it really, once I stopped the insulin and the heart medicine and all the other medicines, my body began to heal, because I was putting real food and nourishment and vitamins and minerals in my body rather than having them stripped out.
When did you first know that you could help others heal?
I think I always knew it all along. I used to pray for our neighbors that were sick. I used to take them little weeds and herbs. So I think I was always a little mini doctor growing up to do what I do today.
What is the most remarkable reversal in health and healing that you've seen?
Well, me personally, going from very, very severe ill health and to being what I am today and my age, and looking around all my friends that are on medications that are very ill. A lot of them at my age are very ill. I mean, I've had a clinic for 40 years, so I've seen so many stories, but I think I just told you one earlier about the guy that had the cancer that came to see me. And do you want to hear that story?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I have a lot of them, so.
Yeah, just go for that.
So this gentleman, probably in his mid-40s, came to see me at his deathbed. His wife wheeled him in a wheelchair, and the medical told him, we've done all we can do, take him home. He won't make it the weekend. So he came into me, and he was gray and very ill, and I said, are you here because you want to be, or are you here because your wife made you come? He said, I want to be here. I said, are you willing to do anything it takes, anything at all, to get well? He said, well, nothing could be worse than what I've already been through with the medicines, the surgeries, the chemos, and left to die. And he said, yeah, he's willing. So I immediately put him on a raw juice fast, and he wasn't eating anyway because he was on his deathbed. So the raw juice fast began to nourish his body and give him the food and nutrients that he needed. It's like a blood infusion, but it's juicing. So every cell in your body gets that nourishment. And his wife actually wrote a recipe book because I kept giving her more and more recipes to make for him. He began to just eat raw food, and he ate that for quite a few years. And he lived another 7 years and died of a tractor accident, not of cancer. And I mean, that was a major reversal. I had a little kid that was 4 or 5, ended up calling me a couple of years ago, and he became a naturopathic doctor because he seen me when he was a little boy. And he was up in many of the medical facilities in Chicago, and they couldn't do anything for him. He was just bleeding and just Crohn's disease, all kinds of very serious digestive disorders. And I taught him and his family how to read labels, that you can't eat the foods, just like I was at diabetes. You can't eat the foods everybody else is eating. You have to, pick the foods that God grew for us, the ones that are healthy. And as a child, they get it. They totally understand it. And all through his years, he just started getting better and better. And it was really interesting. He was in his 20s, called me a couple of years ago and said he just was so impressed with his life, how it changed when he was really not meant to live. And he's a naturopathic doctor, I think, in Chicago somewhere now. Oh. But I get stories like that people call me all the time. And just like I told you guys many times, it's not anything that I do. You do the work. The person does the work. I've had people come to me that people has paid gift certificates, and they don't want to be there. They're just there because someone pushed them to be there. So, why waste your money? I tell people, do not buy gift certificates. If they want to do it, it's one thing, but certainly not going to get somebody to do something they don't want to do. So kudos to the people who do the work and make disease reversal. It's amazing.
Because that's what you said, is that you can tell people to change, but because you always say, like, when people thank you, you say thank yourself, right?
Absolutely. Because again, you're the one doing the work. Mm-hmm. I can give you all of the information, I could lead you, I could cook for you, I could do all the things, but if you're not into doing it and your spirit's not with it, it's not going to work. You have to be doing the work, and it has to be a daily basis.
You have the iridology to be able to understand what the person is going through, and then you have the herbal remedies knowledge in order to supplement, and you have the food knowledge, the food as your medicine. So it's like, can you even, like, are all of them equal to you in terms of the value in which they heal people, or the way that you utilize them?
I think it definitely all comes together in, you have to do it all. obviously we don't have to do herbs all the time, but herbs are nature's highest concentrated form of medicine and food. So the herbs are really our true medicine. So I think we have to have those. And sometimes we have to have them. There's directional herbs and then there's nutritional herbs. And the directional herbs are, if somebody's blood pressure is high, I can give them this specific herb to help them kind of control the blood pressure, while the diet is as equally as important, because if you're continuing eating the standard American diet and taking medicine to try and reduce your blood pressure, it's kind of a losing battle. It's still going to work in a way, but you're not going to heal completely from it unless you're doing the whole story. And then the iridology, it's a great assessment for me as a naturopathic doctor, because I'm able to see without MRIs, without CAT scans, I can see everything going on in all 9 body systems. And in our country, it's not really looked at by the medical association, because we do have an American Medical Association, and that's not part of it. But in other countries, you do have to be a medical doctor to do it here. So it's not really something that it's not really looked at as a diagnostic tool here. In other countries it is. But for me and my practice, it's worked very, very well at helping me see persons' genetic predispositions as well as what's going on in their body at the time.
That's incredible, honestly. When you taught me what iridology is and you were able to tell me things about what's going on without me even telling you what was going on, and I was just like, wow, this is the real deal. It's incredible. You've obviously been studying natural medicine for a lifetime, and we hope that maybe someone young can see this and be inspired to study natural medicine. But do you believe that anyone can start studying it at any age and make a difference in their life and others' lives?
And the people that I see are interested in it aren't the ones that are already healthy and they're already just living a great life, but the ones who had been sick. So they know what the difference is when you were sick and to be well, and what a miracle that is, and to be able to know that nature did it and you became responsible. You chose what you put in your mouth and what you didn't. People come to me all the time, what can I take for this? Because I see people out and they always kind of run to me. What do I take for this? My aunt has high blood pressure. I have arthritis. And I always have the same answer. For one, you're not a patient, so we don't discuss anything unless you're a patient. But the biggest thing I just say to anyone that asks, it's not what you take, it's what you get rid of. So if someone does have arthritis, what's your diet? You're probably high meat, high sugar, white flour, all the processed foods. And you cut all that out, and all of a sudden the acids start flushing out through your kidneys, and that's where you might need support from herbs, because you're going to have a lot of acid flushing out through your kidneys as you begin to heal. And you both have gone through a healing crisis where, when you change your diet very drastically, the old garbage comes out, and, sometimes you get foggy brain and flu-like symptoms, but in our world, that's a really good thing, because what you're doing is flushing out the garbage. The lymphatic system's doing what it's supposed to do, getting rid of the stuff.
So not everyone that heals has to obviously become a naturopathic doctor or an herbalist or an iologist, but if someone was interested in being able to help people to the extent that you've helped them, where would you recommend them starting?
Well, if you want the true naturopathic degree, naturopathic medical degree of Bastyr University. It's in California and it's in Washington. There's 2. I think they're building another one. But today, so many things are done online, and that was never the way when I was doing my studies. But even like the craniosacrals, and when I did lymphatic drainage and all of those, they weren't years and years study. Craniosacral can be when you're doing the whole thing, but I would have to go to Chicago. I'd have to fly to San Francisco, Canada, wherever the studies would be, and you have to do full attendance there. They were, I think it's called intercession, where you put 10 hours in a day and you do 7 days a week. So instead of doing 6 months of school, we're cramming it all in there. And, that was the way that I had to do it. Today, you guys are lucky. You're going to find schools. There's many that you can get. I think I said Quantum is a good school. Just do a lot of research, because just Google in naturopathic schools and make sure that you're getting a lot of feedback, that you're reading the reviews. That's important, because the people who's graduated from there, they're going to leave the reviews.
Somebody wanted to take their health into their own hands and start looking after themselves, where would you suggest they start?
Books. Get some really, really good books. The older the better, because the old books are going to have the truth more in them, whereas today some of these new books are saying you can't eat this certain herb and take that out. And, through my 40 years, we've had a lot of healing with comfrey root. We've had healing with poke. And today those are absolute no-nos in the new books. You can't do that. So, I always tell people really get educated. So don't just do things haphazardly, because there are herbs that are directional, that's true medicines. There's herbs that can stop your heart, which foxglove is what digitalis is made out of. It can start your heart too. So you have to be careful. You have to really know what you're doing. I do teach a class called Eat the Weeds, Free Food and Medicine. Were you at one of those classes? I think you missed that one.
Yeah.
But I teach people about 20 different weeds and we'll probably do a little bit of that today if you have time. Go out and look at a few weeds that are really good to integrate into your meals, into your salads, into your smoothies, into your juice, and we'll do those today too. We'll pick a few of those weeds. But, those are, what I teach, those are nutritional herbs. They're not directional herbs that's going to change. A nutritional herb is going to, if you have low blood sugar, it'll bring it up. If you have high blood sugar, it'll bring it down. So they're really food herbs that are balanced in nature. And that's what we want to get in our bodies every day.
Right, because you believe that food is medicine.
Food is medicine, absolutely.
And what would you say the number one thing that holds patients back from healing is?
They just don't stay persistent with it. You have to stay true to anything that you believe in your life. It's just like any relationship. If you really want to nurture a good relationship, you have to work at it. You have to stay with it. And if you don't care, then you just do anything you want. But it's the same with our health. If you really want to be well, you have to be diligent. You have to be faithful to it, and give it the love and the grace and everything that it deserves to be healthy. Because if we don't take care of our bodies, the one gift that I believe that we were given, where are you going to live?
I think that's a good one of questions. Is there anything else that you would want to say?
No, just get in there and take care of yourself. You deserve it. Everybody deserves good health. And it doesn't matter how much money we have. The best wealth in life is our health.
Definitely. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Cool. Right, well done.
That was awesome.
Are we done? We
Good
did
job.
it. Are we done?